Mike Stowe for the Sideline Showdown here with newly minted Dakota head coach Mitch Harrison. Mitchell, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, can't complain, you know.
you have to pause and think about that one for a second. We're fresh after practice here today at Dakota Collegiate, and let's just say the boys are getting ready. They're getting ready for their first game. Leading up to today, maybe not factored in today's practice so much, but in general, leading up to today, how have you felt the team has looked so far, just gelling overall?
I've been really proud with how everyone has responded. We went pretty tough on them for the first couple of weeks. Like, we conditioned at the beginning of practice. We get them running, from drill to drill. So the intensity's up, and they responded accordingly. It showed in our game against Steinbach. There, we had a lot of what I would call effort plays. We blocked 2 kicks. We had a player chase down a receiver 40 yards down the field and pop the ball out. Just stuff like that. So I'm happy that it's translating into plays on the field rather than just me talking to them about nothing kind of thing.
Certainly. Let's stick on that for a second. I don't know, was it you that decided that or Steinbach or mutual, but if it was a strategic decision, it made sense. You and Steinbach are kind of in similar positions this season in terms of, we had the preseason coaches poll, the first ever. That's where the coaches at least have ranked you guys as pretty close in that poll. How valuable was it to play a team like Steinbach in the preseason and sort of learn where you're at? I know it's early, but obviously just to get a gauge at this point.
It was really, I don't know, it was a very competitive game. There was never a point where I thought that we were going to run away with it or anything like that. So I think that was probably the best part about it is we think we're good, right? But you don't really know that until you play someone that's good. So it was a great challenge. It's just it's funny though. The game only happened. It wasn't thought out or anything like that. Steven was just sitting next to me at the league meeting, and I'm like, hey man, can we do a game together? And he's like, yeah, sure. You have to come to us though. So. But yeah, it was a great challenge, and I think that it gave us a good picture of where we're at offensively, defensively, and where we need to make some changes to make sure that we're best optimizing the players on the field.
Now that I think about it, I was at that meeting, and I definitely remember the conversation you threw across the table. Let's describe your coaching style a little bit. You are a product of Sisler High School, where you played and also coached, then moved on to the Bisons. Very versatile player. You pride yourself on knowing every position defensively and really being very schematic with that and having very strong defenses. You've been the defensive coordinator of each of the past 2 years, Defensive Players of the Year in Division I while at Sisler. How much of the defensive attitude, because you are I believe also still going to be calling the plays here at Dakota. How much of that defensive philosophy do you prioritize versus what you're seeing on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to your coaching strategy?
So in terms of how we're trying to balance everything, I recognize that even though I'm a defensive coach, I can't put all my effort into one thing. Otherwise, we would lose. We still need to score points. So I think we do a really good job of making sure our two-way players are getting enough practice time at both sides of the balls. Both sides of the ball there, and also, I have a lot of really good assistant defensive coaches that allow me to kind of take a step back. I'll be like, hey, can you run this period for now? They'll call the plays, all that sorts of stuff. And I think that's really huge. It allows me to kind of float between, both teams, but then also both sides of the ball to talk about whatever we need to talk about. Also, our offensive coordinator, Coach Marsh, is he's pretty hard-nosed too, and I really like that about him. A lot of offensive guys get the, bad rep for being kind of soft or whatever, receivers kind of thing like that. But I think that he matches my intensity, and we don't necessarily butt heads, but it's that competitiveness that kind of makes us both want to do better as well. So
certainly, it's been mentioned before. The coaching staff you have still coming in here, that will certainly help. As a head coach, what is your philosophy when it comes to the way you like to teach specifically? Are you more of a guy that sort of tries to I wouldn't say hammer things in, but is a bit more firm, or are you somebody that at least likes to be a bit more patient with the guys? Where would you rank your coaching style from a 1 to 10 in terms of intensity versus more hands-off?
I think it just depends on the practice and on the day, right? There's days where I'm really patient and, I understand it's going to take some time to grasp some of the more difficult concepts and all that sorts of stuff. So I guess I'd say I'm more patient for technical and mental things. I'm less patient when it comes to effort. If there's no effort, I'm losing it, as you kind of saw today. But I try not to yell. I understand we're still dealing with ultimately they're still children in a lot of ways, right? And especially the JV guys. Like you can't be yelling at them all the time. You don't know what they're getting at home. You don't know what they're getting, in their social circle. So you don't want to be a negative force in their life. You want to be a positive force. I try my best to be positive all the time, laughing, joking with the guys. But like I said, if there's a lack of effort, then that's something that we're going to correct immediately, and we're going to correct with some intensity probably,
All the best this season, Mitch. It's a pleasure having you as a head coach in the league, and really looking forward to watching you develop.
Thank you. Thank you.